That's gross, but I needed something. What's up, guys? So today I finally bring you that story about T-Mobile that I keep thinking my ear itches. There's probably rats and snakes and worms crawling up in there that I keep telling you guys about, and how I kind of lost my shit. I want to do a comparison about my attitude versus the attitudes of others versus my own attitude under different circumstances. So if you guys remember, T-Mobile acquired Sprint. I was originally a Sprint customer. I have been a Sprint customer since September 2015. And honestly, earlier on, I don't remember having too many problems. I actually had problems with my actual phone. My phone at the time was the iPhone 6 Plus. I want to say that about 8 to 10 months into having it, or maybe a year, my phone was having issues regarding the touch screen, especially the corners. It wouldn't perceive my touch. I took it to a phone repair shop, and then my phone was shipped to Florida, and I was explained that they had to insert some kind of metal plate somewhere to keep it from bending. I went online to look up that problem, and it turns out that it had been a problem for everybody. So they called it hashtag BendGate. So I can say that was my first bad experience. And it's not necessarily Sprint's fault at the time, but I hated that the new iPhone at the time, the 6S, was coming out about a week or two after I bought mine, and nobody, absolutely nobody, had the courtesy to let me know that, hey, since you're buying this on September, Apple has new releases on this month. Do you think you could wait? I would have waited, and I would have ended up with the 6S, better condition, better performing, not as many issues, whatever. But at the time, I just needed a phone, and the phone that I needed to also act as a replacement for my lost iPod. But eventually, my mom ended up finding my iPod. She had accidentally misplaced it. So, needless to say, I was already having like a little bit of a salty experience, because I'm the kind of customer service clerk to be like, hey, just so you know, you're getting ready to buy this $60 thing. Just a heads up, on the weekend, starting Friday, it's gonna be 40% off. Would you rather wait? Or is this something that you urgently need? A lot of people end up saying, hell yeah, I'll wait. Thanks for telling me. That's the way that you take care of somebody. But at the time, I can just see how people are just there to just be there and exist. And nowadays, that attitude has become worse. Well, when it comes to service, to reception itself, I began having major issues, major connection issues around 2017-ish through 2018. And basically what would happen is that I would have moments of extremely slow connection, but at least it wasn't something that I had to really complain about very often. It would kind of rectify itself. And then eventually, when I contacted Sprint at the time, they were telling me that they were working on some towers, that they did know that there were network outages in my area pretty often, and to just bear with it. And at some point, it got so bad that they gave me a $75 credit on my bill, because I kept complaining and complaining and complaining. I'm like, what is the point of me having this fucking service if I'm not going to be able to use it, especially at home? I remember that last year, I had one of my calls. It became a periodic thing. I feel like I had to call them at least 4 times a year. It was like every season, pretty much. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna wait this week. I'm gonna wait this week. No, I'm not going to wait this week. I'm tired of not having service. So I have been calling and calling and complaining, and I feel like every single time I was getting the same story, but with a little bit of a tweak. Especially in the past 2 years, it became particularly bad. My hotspot wasn't working. My pages would not load. I'm talking about pages to just browse something like Twitter, or something like loading my email, something that should be quick and painless, unlike watching a video or streaming something, it wouldn't happen. And my phone could black out for 40 minutes. That's when I finally got pissed off one night. It was either Sunday night or Monday night. But I'm telling you, I was pissed off and I dialed T-Mobile's customer service, and like as soon as an agent became available for me, they were like, thanks for calling T-Mobile, blah blah blah, how may I help you? And I was like, I hope you can help me. And I felt bad because when I am legitimately upset, and it's an upsetness that has been happening for a long time, and it's the same issue and it's an unresolved issue, I have zero control. Like, I was using a genuinely pissed off tone. I was like, I really hope that you can help me. I have been struggling with this shit for 7 years. I never have reception when I am at home. And every single time I call, I get told a different story. I'm told the towers are being worked on, or I need to update my app or something. I have already done that. I reset the network settings on my phone. I have reset my phone to factory settings. I have inserted a new SIM card. I have had my network refreshed on your end. I have restarted my phone. I have turned it off for 5 minutes and turned it back on. All of that. What is happening? I just want to know the truth. Why is this area where my house is such a dead zone? She disappeared for a little bit and then she came back, and this was the first solution she tried to push on me. Again, I'm not mad at the employee. This is absolutely not the employee's fault. I'm sure that she did her research. She must have spoken to a manager and she was really trying to be there for me. But when she came back, she was like, would you be willing to update your plan to something magenta 5G and something? And I'm like, look, as I mentioned before, I actually had mentioned that as one of the things that they offered to me as a solution. They said, would you like to update to the magenta plan? I'm like, no, I don't need to update to the magenta plan. I just need you to give me good service. I can go to other parts in the city and not have this problem. I want to know what is going on within the 3-mile radius that circles me, because my mom's phone has a problem. Other people who have T-Mobile, but they have a different phone, like say a Galaxy, theirs acts up too. And on top of that, she's telling me that my plan would go up to $150. That's a little less than I was paying when I had to lease my phone back in 2015 and have 2 lines and the phones were new. I'm not going to sign up for a service when I don't have this problem other places. I need my service to work here at home, but I'm not going to increase it. I would rather buy home internet so that I can have Wi-Fi to connect my phone to Wi-Fi. And then this is the part that really made me sizzle a little more. She was like, well, ma'am, to be honest with you, you're really the only complaint that we have received in the area. And I'm like, and I can answer the question to that. The individual I mentioned who has a Samsung Galaxy and he too struggles with reception. You know what he has? He has home fucking internet. So he can connect to his Wi-Fi because maybe he doesn't want to deal with his phone not fucking working. And I guarantee you that all of the people who live close by, there are, let me take a look here. It's around 7 to 13 Wi-Fi networks available around here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are currently 8 networks that surround me for Wi-Fi. So you know what's happening? The people who wish to use their phones, they use it at home with Wi-Fi. And another thing I have observed is people who text me and sometimes they happen to screenshot something. You know what I have noticed? They have the little Wi-Fi symbol on the corner of their screenshot because maybe they have shitty reception and they're also trying to save up on the so-called unlimited data that you provide. But once you hit 50 gigs, you start getting throttled. You start being slowed down because during congested hours, we're not going to prioritize you and we're going to prioritize other people. Well, as proof that my reception has been shit, I haven't hit my 50 gig limit in 3 months now. I told her all that, and I said, I can guarantee you that nobody in this area is using their cellular device without assistance. Everybody in this area is using Wi-Fi. And she's like, well, ma'am, can you try connecting to Wi-Fi? I'm like, motherfucker, why would I want to have Wi-Fi at home if I have a cellular plan with unlimited data? I have been doing this forever. I don't want to change. I'm trying to have fewer bills. I'm trying to lower my spending. And the solutions that you're offering me are going to incur a higher bill that I'm trying to avoid and escape from. What I want to do at this point is cancel service instead. Because at least in public, there are plenty of Wi-Fi connections. So if I have to sacrifice my comfort at home and be somewhere else and use my computer instead, I will do that. Fuck having a phone. And I don't get to travel anywhere anyway, especially not often. So I'm not going to suffer from not having GPS or anything like that. And I don't leave the city and I know my way around here. Is that what I should do? Like, should I just cancel my service? Because I made this phone call as the last resort, last warning, that I'm ready to cancel this fucking service that I have been unhappy with for 7 years. But unfortunately, I haven't had the choice or the flexibility to be able to say that, you know what, I can go without the service. And honestly, I also have to consider mom, because I have my mom on my plan and I'm paying for hers. But hers is barely working too. So, like, not only am I suffering, somebody else I know is suffering, and also my business is suffering because I don't get to rely on my internet to be able to keep updating my page like I'm supposed to. And if you guys have observed, my streams have been conspicuously missing. I don't even try to stream because I know that my service is going to be interrupted. And even back in the day when I used to stream more often, you guys know that my phone couldn't handle it. So I had to stop those until I got my current phone, which has better capacity, better memory, like a greater memory. So it doesn't, the app doesn't like consume the rest of my phone's memory while the stream is collecting data and all that. I never had those problems with my new phone, but the only problem I was having is my reception. Right now, I only have one fucking bar of service, and it's the daytime. It's not a congested time. It's not 4 o'clock. It's not 5 o'clock, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. For me to rely on my service, I had to wait until between 11 or midnight. But I have some news for you. I work in the mornings, so it's not like I can stay up in the name of having reception. I should be able to rely on it at any time, especially if I haven't hit my data limit. After I fired off on that lady, I said, she put me like on a brief hold, but while still on the line. And I was like, look, I'm sorry. I know that I'm speaking very angrily because I genuinely am upset, but I don't want you as a person, as a worker, to take it personal. I'm upset at the company's service, not you. And then she was like, it's okay. Like, I would feel the same way from what you're describing and what I've been seeing here on your profile. You have been expressing this for a long time, and I actually feel your frustration, because if it was happening to me, I would feel the same way. I know what it's like to have my phone not loading and stuff. And I'm like, that also helps. I just want to be understood, because there comes a point in which I feel like nobody understands me. And in the past, I have been with a tech on the line, and we did all kinds of resets and refreshes, and that worked for some time, maybe like a month or two, but then boom, my phone died again. She said, as a matter of fact, I'm getting ready to connect you to one of our techs, so please stay on the line and one of them will help you. And I stayed on the line with this tech guy for about 45-ish minutes. I made this call to T-Mobile at around, I want to say it was 11:30, and I didn't get off the phone with them until 2 a.m. and I had to work hours later. I had to work at around 7:30. So I'm like, all I could think about was, I'm losing fucking sleep, but whatever. If this is what I have to go through so that my service is improving, I will do it. I'll sacrifice this night, whatever. The tech went over some things that I have never done before. He made me go to my settings app, and I had to go on the cellular and click on mobile selection. And then the night I did it, that automatic thing kept spinning. It was turned on, and then he asked me to turn it off, and it kept spinning. I had to restart my phone after he did some refresh on his end, and then get off the line with him. I couldn't have access to mom's phone because she was asleep, and I'm not gonna like wake her up at 2 a.m. to gather her phone. So I told the tech, look, I don't have Wi-Fi and I don't have another phone available. And he was like, ooh, that's gonna be tough. And I'm like, yeah, it is tough. That's why I don't have Wi-Fi. I don't want Wi-Fi because what's the point of having Wi-Fi if I have unlimited data? And I cannot have Wi-Fi at home when I cannot justify having it at home if I spend most of my time away from home. And when I am away from home, if I needed Wi-Fi, I can go somewhere. Like my computer, if I gotta use it, all I do is I go to the library and I do what I have to do. And I'm over there, and while I'm over there, I go do my shopping afterward and all that. So I'm killing a lot of birds with one stone because I'm actually an organized, methodical person. I'm just angry that I'm paying for this goddamn thing. It's $120 per month, and I get nothing in the places that I frequent, which is home or the area surrounding home. And I'm not the only person who sees that about their phone, but I am the one person who's complaining about it because I don't have a choice. I don't have Wi-Fi to reinforce this, and I don't want to have Wi-Fi to reinforce it. So everybody else who lives around here, I know they have this issue. Some of them are fucking delivery drivers, and some delivery drivers tell me, oh my god, there's like a dead zone in this area because my GPS was acting up and it would keep cutting off and on and all that. And I'm like, those people are on the clock. They don't have fucking time to call you and complain to you and be put on hold. I technically don't have time for this. I'm losing sleep. I live in the East. It's 2 a.m. for me. I also brought to the tech's attention everything that I had done, like the whole network refreshes, my phone refreshes, factory settings, everything that I have described to you guys. And then I said, oh, this thing that you're showing me about network selection, I've never seen that before. Mine was set to, of course, automatic, T-Mobile, but then he had me turn it off, turn it on, and click on AT&T. But when I clicked on AT&T, the reception ended up saying SOS. And I tried making a call. I tried using the internet, of course, and I'm like, holy shit, it's not working. And the tech said that he would call me back within a few minutes after I got off the line to restart my phone. So I got scared, I got worried, and I said, hey, just to give you a heads up, when you asked me to do that, use AT&T, my phone did nothing. So I went back to T-Mobile, and he said, oh, okay, that's fine. Because I forget the reason he said, it got a little too technical. But then he was asking me, okay, how many signal bars do you have now? And I said, 3. And for a brief second, I saw 4. But now it's back to 2 and back to 1. And when we got off the phone, it was at 1. And he was like, that's weird because you're supposed to be having pretty good coverage. And I'm like, that's the thing. Like, look, right now, I'm having 1 to 2 fucking bars again. And see what I mean? I've been upset about that for a long time, and I'm not going to move away from here to have better reception. I was pissed. And with T-Mobile and slash Sprint, I must say that every single time I called them over the years, they've had good customer service. And I just feel sad that they have such a good squad of people. Like the customer service culture, I guess everyone is well trained and they do a really good job, don't get me wrong. But damn, your reception in my area sucks. So I can't be excited about it. And then another thing that the first lady said was, so have you considered upgrading your phone? And I'm like, is that free? I'm not going to spend another $1,000 on a new phone when this one is perfectly fine. And it's still new. It's from 2020. And I know that technology becomes old after a year and a half, but Like $1,000 for this stupid fucking thing. No! So she was like, yeah, I understand. And I'm like, and on top of that, remember, I don't have this problem away from home. There are other spots in the city when my phone works just fine. So it's not something mechanically, physically wrong with my phone. It's here. It's this fucking area. And it happens if I step outside too. So it's not like, oh, maybe I live in a tin house and like that disrupts the signal. Nothing like that. So no, I'm not going to update my bill amount per month. And on top of that, have the bill of leasing a phone or buy a brand new one and spend $1,000 on it. No! So she understood, and I was like, the only way I'll upgrade my phone is if it breaks. And I know that I'm only having access to 4G because this is not a phone that's capable of 5G. The iPhone 12 and newer are the 5G phones. And I'm like, too bad. How was I supposed to know that this phone, the year that I bought it, would be the last year that it would be compatible with your fucking towers or something? You find the solution. If it's not gonna be free, I'm not going to upgrade. So in the end, of course, I didn't get a new phone. Even after all that refreshing that I went through with the tech and the phone was working somewhat better, I guess it was working better because it was 2 a.m. But the next day, in the evening and nighttime, it would load significantly better than before, but I still have my moments. Yesterday, for example, when I can go half an hour or 40 minutes or 50 minutes without nothing coming up. So what I do is I put this little head on the pillow and nap it out. That is my story of being pissed with T-Mobile. Like, they know it. The tech told me that they are doing some further work. I guess there's some upgrades that are supposed to be coming. And I'm like, I have been hearing that story for so long. Is it real though? And then the tech said, I understand, I can see what the problem is, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, at least he tried. Everybody was there for me on the line. Like the girl and him. And I mean, it's just hard that when they're on the phone, it starts working, but then maybe 10 minutes after I get off the phone, it goes to shit again. And I thought about doing that because I decided to be up for a little longer that night since I got to do nothing at nighttime. And I said, oh, okay, let me catch up on what I meant to watch. But then it started acting up again, and I said, man, it's 2:30 a.m. I better get some sleep. So yeah, you guys, that's my story when it comes to that. That's why I cannot have a job with computers. It pisses me off. Like, I had that impulse of wanting to like throw my phone against the wall. And back in the year 2009, I did that. I broke one of my phones because I was angry that there was no reception in my area as well back in the day. But yeah, just this brings a special kind of anger from me. And another thing I did was I did break one of my computers too. My laptop back in 2014, I was upset because it wasn't loading something, and I went and I hit the motherboard just right that it became toast. And I didn't have a computer until 2021, December 2021. So pretty much until 2022, I didn't have a computer. I'm telling you, this is a created problem. Computers, phones, lack of connection, lack of internet. This is a fucking created problem. And I can see and feel how it affects me. And maybe that's the reason I cannot dominate my mood when it comes to that. Just know that I'm not changing. I'm paying for this shit. You fix it. I'm not going to be the one to chip more money than I'm already being scammed out of. That shit just pisses me off. So yeah, you guys, do you have any stories about having shitty service? It might make me feel better. Who is your network provider? We used to have Verizon, but the reason I switched from my mom's plan, mom used to be the Verizon customer. Then I said, Ma, I ended up buying a smartphone. I'm keeping my same phone number but disconnect my line. And she's like, well, I want to try that too. She decided to get on board with my plan on Sprint. So she had to learn how to use an iPhone and all that. That was an adventure. And then after that, we let go of Verizon. But the phone that I broke back in 2009, that was from Verizon. I know that all of these companies are supposed to be kind of sharing the same thing. No matter which provider you use, technically it's the same with these major ones, but I don't know. I just want to get the value for my money. That's it.